Another thing that's been ticking me off lately is the demonization of smokers. I mean, you guys all want someone to hate, and you're like, oh, let's hate smokers, because what they're doing is so unhealthy for them. And smoking gives you cancer. I disagree with that. Statistically, you can't prove anything. So just because you smoke, you have a higher chance of getting cancer doesn't mean the smoking gave you cancer. I mean, you're breathing stupid chemicals all damn day. You're sitting in rush hour, sucking down exhaust fumes. You're breathing a chemical shit bleeding off the furniture at the office and paint fumes and whatever else. I mean, whatever the shit there is, they're spraying from the sky from those damn planes. You're breathing crap all day, and you're like, oh no, if you get lung cancer, it's from smoking. It's probably from secondhand smoke if you don't smoke, or maybe even third or fourth hand smoke, whatever the fuck that is. And all these people in a medical field thinking you can fucking prove things with statistics. You can't just be like, well, statistically, you're like looking at this, so therefore that proves that. Like, no, that just shows a correlation, and correlation does not equal causation. And a lot of people don't realize that. And I got another theory on why smokers end up with cancer a lot of times, and it has to do with the placebo effect. Put simply, the placebo effect is when people can cure themselves just from a sugar pill because they think that the pill they're getting is actual medicine. But, the brain is so powerful when it comes to controlling your own health. Well, if you think this pill you're taking is going to be the cure for your disease, well, then it just might happen because you believe it's strong enough, I guess. But I think the reverse of the placebo effect is also true. If you're doing something that you're totally convinced is just terrible bad for you, well, you're probably going to manifest some adverse health effect. Who's to say that all this, like, oh, smoking's bad for you, smoking causes cancer, hasn't, infiltrated the minds of all the smokers and they're just giving themselves cancer? You have no idea how the placebo effect works in the first place, and you're saying, well, it can't work backwards. I mean, who the fuck comes up with that logic? I guess it really ticks me off, too, is that all you fuckers think that you can just dictate to private property owners what they can do, if there's such a huge demand for a non-smoking restaurant, well, you think certain restaurant owners would be like, oh, we don't allow smoking on our premise, but no, you're such smoke Nazis, like, oh, you can't fucking smoke anywhere. Well, what about the employees who gotta work there? You're like, well, no one's holding a fucking gun to your head. You don't gotta fucking work anywhere, so I don't know what your problem is, if you don't want to work in a smoking environment, well, don't take the fucking job. It's like, oh, you can't even make that decision for yourself. You own a bar and stuff and you want people to be allowed to smoke in there? Nope. And then you get all these jackasses out there be like, oh, well, it's good for you, it's how can you be mad when we're forcing you to be healthy? And I'm like, well, because you're forcing me to be healthy. That's not the fucking definition of freedom. You can't just force someone to be healthy. That's like put them in jail. Like, well, we don't want you eating sweet food, so we're not going to serve you any fucking sugar. You're like, well, how can you complain about that? That's forcing someone to be healthy. You're like, yeah, because it's forced. It's not freedom. Freedom implies that you have the choice to choose to smoke or not. If you have freedom implies that if you own a restaurant, you can choose to let people smoke in there because it's your fucking restaurant. So if you're one of these jackasses who supports the anti-smoking laws and you're like, oh, well, that's good and I support that, well, quit, just do the rest of us a fucking favor and quit saying you're in favor of freedom. And, oh, United States, the most free country on earth. You can't even do stuff with your own property, Quit claiming to back freedom because you're a fucking fascist. Just own it.